Lindbergh will have guards in there.
Not if they're distracted.
There's a thought.
A double fake.
He did it to us. We do it to him.
Welcome back to Dream Hanger. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about the next wave. I guess it's the next wave of biker mice from Nacelle, and obviously we got some big hitters in there. And I had to do a little bit of research into who this female mouse was, and so I've got that. And the other ones are very common figures from the original toy line and the show. So we're going to get into taking a look at this, and I'm going to discuss this, but definitely some big hitters, some figures that you would expect to get made, but the bad guys are finally coming, and it came from left field, and this was revealed. We'll talk about that and more here in a bit. I do want to say my heart goes out to all those victims of the Hurricane Helene, and I have to admit it's a little hard making fun content when we've got such tragedy going on in our country. But hopefully fun content takes your mind off of the tragedy for just a little bit. Let's get into taking a look at biker mice coming up. All right, before we get into the new stuff, I do want to talk about what has come and what's on the way, and then I'm going to talk about the new stuff. So we've got the three main characters, the three main biker mice. We've got the figures already. You can actually get them at Walmart right now, $30 each, which is awesome. For $30, great figures. I'm really happy with them. They're not perfect, but they're still really good figures overall. And then the bikes are on the way. Those are $35 each that I see. You can order them several places, BBTS. And I'm sure once they show up, I mean, I think they're sold out of BBTS, but once they show up, I'm sure they'll be in enough volume. Hopefully they go to Walmart too. It'd be so much fun to buy these all at Walmart. Then there's also, they talked about the reveal for the Charlie figure, which is, in my opinion, a necessity. And I bet you we'll see a couple different variations of her. The main baddie of baddies, Lindbergh, we've seen him revealed already, and I think that looks like a good figure. So they're already doing some good work and revealing some great figures. And they've also revealed the Sports Bros, and there's going to be black and white repaint variants, sort of chase figures. And I don't know, like a treasure hunt, I guess. I don't know how you chase them, unless they're talking about these being Walmart, right? So this kind of was related as a Walmart section for several of these items, like that Dargon and a few of these other things, were all Walmart exclusives. Maybe the black and white chase figures could be found at Walmart. Maybe. That will be awesome and a lot of fun. Getting into this next wave, we're going to go character by character and talk about this. Pretty fun, pretty exciting that these are going to be on the way, and I'm just assuming $30 to $35 depending on where you buy them, and I think that's pretty good value, especially for modern day representations. And we already know pretty much what we're going to get from the first figures, and I'm pretty happy with that. Let's get more of the same. But this was actually revealed as the cover reveal for the next issue of Toy Collector. Now, from my understanding, Toy Collector has done this. This will be the 14th time that Toy Collector magazine was the first place to reveal new product and new toys, a new wave or something along those lines. So that is pretty cool, pretty exciting. This is the November-December issue of 2024, and kind of exciting, kind of fun, kind of brings you back to the day when we used to only learn about new stuff in magazines. And as magazines generally are about, because of printing and all of that, the information is usually a couple months behind. It's cool that they can have cutting edge stuff and beat out the digital era with their cover. That's awesome. Although I've collected biker mice, I did not know who Carbine was. I'm pretty sure I saw her in one of the episodes. I watched a few episodes, and it's a fun show. But Carbine is a minor female character in the series. She's a general of the Martian Mice Freedom Fighters. Carbine is also a trusted ally to Throttle, Moto, and Vinny. And pretty cool figure. The colors don't exactly match up to what this screenshot shows here, but it's still kind of cool. It's kind of fun. And she was voiced by Leah Remini, who was in King of Queens, so that's kind of cool. And then Leah was also in like Saved by the Bell during that summer edition of Saved by the Bell. Anyhow, a good looking figure, and the green, I just noticed the greens aren't quite as teal on it and stuff, but once we get it in hand, it'll be interesting to find out. But since I don't really have a huge tie to the character so much, I'm okay with colors being a little bit different. But I'm wondering if people that are even bigger Biker Mice fans, how they feel about it. But I think the figure looks great. I think it's cool. And it's really good to have female figures included. And the fact that Nacelle is just doing it right out the gate. Well, not right out the gate, but it's pretty early in the run of this line to start having 2 female characters. Obviously, Charlie would be first because she's more predominant. She's like the April O'Neil figure. But this one here is a little bit different and cool. I think it's a great looking figure. All right, next up we have Grease Pit, is a supporting antagonist of the series, voiced by Brad Garrett. He made his debut when he was trying to force Charlie to sign over the Last Chance Garage Limburger. Then the Biker Mice sent him packing. So this figure, obviously we had one in the original line, and I think that for me personally, I'd rather see a comparison of the new to the original, so that's what I'm going to do. All right, here we go with Grease Pit versus the original vintage figure from 1993. And I got to say that the new one looks more like the cartoon, and the new one looks cooler. And the way they applied the grease paint apps make it look like, yeah, it looks like he's been playing around in grease. I don't think that they applied the paint apps, the grease paint apps, very well on the 1993 figure, but I will say that they did a pretty good job on the 1993 figure, but it's kind of fun to get an update. You actually get some biddable knees in there, some more articulation in the elbows. So that's going to be good. Plus, it's going to be considerably bigger, a much larger figure in the 6-inch scale. The colors, I think, match the animation a little bit more, probably with the Nacelle. But still, the gun itself and the backpack, all that they still retain all that stuff. And I'm just curious even more about accessories and how that goes. But it is a definitely a needed addition to the collection. And going deep on the bad guys here. Well, this isn't deep. This is a main character. I'm curious, though, there's a deep well of bad guys. How deep will they go? All right, so now we've got Dr. Karbunkle and Fred. And I want to point out that the Karbunkle from 93 was really a statue. I mean, although you can move his legs, there's really not much you could do with them. You could just swivel them around a little bit, very little bit, and then his arms and his head move. And that's about all you can do with this figure. Not much at all. So to be able to do a whole lot of cool poses and different things with them, it's going to be interesting. And also, the vintage one, it's hard to make him stand up. It's just, he's got some tiny little feet and a giant head, and he falls over a lot. And then, of course, the Fred figure. Now, I'm not 100% sure how this is going to be packed, but I assume a 2-pack. I assume it's going to be Fred as an accessory, but no one really knows that just yet. And then his head pops up on the new one, and his brain pops out. So really a lot of cool stuff with this set here. I think that the new one looks so much better than the vintage one. And I actually, in hand, the vintage, the 93 one, is actually a pretty cool looking figure overall. I mean, the sculpt of it looks good. The paint apps were applied are pretty cool. But to get a modern representation is a lot of fun. Definitely a needed figure. And so that this spawns some more ideas for me. Like, what else are they going to make? What other figures are going to come out of this? Because Karbunkle created a lot of crazy characters, and that's just what kept the show going. I mean, it said, who else are you going to fight? The same goofballs every time, or a new goofball that he creates? Now, I do want to point out something about Fred. He'll get repainted to green or recolored. As you can see right here, I've made videos about all these biker mice already. I've already pretty much reviewed the entire vintage line and the first 3 figures, so I'll probably take a look at all the stuff on my channel eventually as I get it. But there's the green version, and it's just a repaint. But I could imagine them doing the same thing. The green one came with Karbunkle's laboratory, the playset, which is an interesting playset. They've done a lot of weird things with it, but still expect to see a green repaint. I'm surprised they haven't announced that as like, how is that not announced? Oh wait, they haven't announced this at all. This is leaked through the toy mag. I'm just guessing stuff here, but Nacelle saying that the black and whites are chase, maybe a green one will be a chase. I don't know. That'll be cool. Also, I'd like to see if it was green transparent, would be cool too. So I gotta say, these are pretty cool reveals, pretty good lineup. This toy line is actually turning out to be quite a good toy line so far going forward. And a revival of something as big yet small as Biker Mice is interesting. And I really have high hopes for Nacelle. I'm really looking forward to the Nacelle Power Lords. I'm wondering, though, if this is a hold-up because of whatever reason. I hope it's not a licensing issue to where they can't do it. I really look forward to seeing this. I know the Four Horsemen gave these a shot. They didn't have the interest in it to go much past the first one or two waves for the Four Horsemen in the 4-inch scale. Now in the 6-inch scale. The thing is that they're already pretty good sized figures for the vintage Power Lords line. I would love to see this go further, but we haven't really gotten any new news on this yet. But I'm hoping pretty soon we hear more about this. But the Biker Mice are awesome. I want to see more of this. So far, pretty cool toy line. So I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty happy with what they've done. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Are you excited about these new reveals? Is it something you're in on? Do you not care about Biker Mice at all, but just find it interesting that Nacelle's making this? And if Nacelle's making these properties, what other one would you like them to pick up? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and bye, M6. Tiberium Hanger out.
After our work today, this colorful creature will regrettably be rendered extinct. But being civic-minded, I'll preserve it for posterity. Add it to my personal museum, would you? The battle stations.
The spoils arise of those guns. Blast! Now that is one manly Martian mouse.
Yeah, I love this ship.
Is it one is tied to the other? But the Plutarchians wiped the plants out.
So how can we help?
Glad you asked.
My forces failed to vaporize those vagabond vermin.
You have a plan, my Stilton smoothness?
But of course, my dear doctor.